What is going on, guys? Gray here. Today I'd like to talk about yesterday's ESO Direct, and it was an incredible show. There's a lot of stuff coming to the Elder Scrolls Online this year. In this video, I'm going to talk about everything, they kind of discussed in the ESO Direct yesterday. And later on today, I'm going to have another video talking about everything that's coming kind of change-wise, at least what they've outlined in Update 46. So let's go ahead and talk about yesterday's ESO Direct. It was a great show. There's a lot of new stuff coming to the game, and especially one thing that a lot of people have been asking for pretty much for 11 years now. But first of all, let's talk about, kind of the setup for this. Matt Fior kind of started out talking about all the different stuff that they've been working on over the years, how they were, proud of the team, proud of the community, and wanted to continue that trend going forward for many more years to come. He did say, and he said this several times now, this year's kind of a bridge year, which means they're kind of bridging between that yearly DLC and the way they want to do seasons. They said the way seasons are going to shape up in the end is going to be different than what we see right now with seasons. But this year's kind of a bridge between the old way they did content and, of course, seasons. So if this year seems a little bit familiar compared to previous years, that's kind of why. But first of all, they talked about the new zone we're going to get, which is Solstice. It's a tropical island. It says a tropical island vibe that pretty much goes to hell. And the difference is this is an interesting zone because you have high elves and Aragonians living on this island together, which is something we haven't seen before. The architecture around the map looks like high elf and Aragonian things combined, which is really cool. It looks like a really nice zone, a really nice looking zone. They talked about how there's different parts of the island. The east side of the island is, real tropical. The other side, the western side of the island, is completely different. And they said that kind of changes as you go through in different parts of the story. They didn't really say if the island was going to unlock in different parts. I'm assuming that's kind of how this is going to work, but I'm not 100% sure on that. But we have Season of the Worm Cult Part 1, which is June 2025, of course. Then we have a large, world-changing in-game event and a dungeon pack in Quarter 3 of 2025. And then we have the Season of the Worm Cult Part 2, Zone Expansion and Story Final. So or the finale. So that's kind of how we saw content years ago when it was smaller DLCs. You would have a part of a small DLC at the beginning of the year and then maybe a completely different small DLC at the end of the year. Now they've decided to kind of break this up within the story. That's why I'm saying I don't know if you're going to be able to adventure across the entire island right off the bat, or if the different parts are going to open up depending on what part of the story you're in. We'll kind of have to wait and see. But to gain access to this brand new content pass, you need to purchase the Season of the Worm Cult Pass itself, and that is a 2025 content pass. So once you purchase that pass, you have all the content for the year. And it's not really that bad of a price. It's $49.99 here in the United States. Or you can get the Ultimate Edition, which is really good if you are a new player. This will give you the content pass plus all of the big story DLCs from all the previous years together. And it's like $80 roundabout. Kind of, don't quote me on that. But overall, that is a really, really good thing to me, because if you are a new player, you still want that old content, the big story DLCs. You are able to get that with access to this and the content pass itself. But you will have all of the all access to all of this stuff when you purchase the content pass. And besides, of course, those new zone and story, and of course this story is picking up from what we experienced in the original story, which is pretty amazing. Something that happened 11 years ago, of course, on PC. I started playing the game on console when it came out on the consoles. But it's kind of interesting to go back and get back into that story, that base game story from 2014. So that's going to be kind of fun to experience for veteran players and new players alike. But we're going to have this big world game event as well in Quarter 3. And this world event is going to be something that is based on the mega servers themselves. So it's going to be on the North American server and the EU server, and the entire server is participating in this. So this is something like we've never seen before. Kind of reminds me of like what you would see in Cyrodiil when you have the entire server, playing on the North American server or the European server. So all the players will be participating in this together on one server. So that's going to be a very unique and neat world event. Like I said, we will have new dungeons. We will have one new trial as well. So if you're a Trials fan, don't worry. There's a new trial coming this year like we've had every year. But probably the biggest thing that they announced is something that players have been asking for since the game has come out. And that is a way to kind of change your skill lines from class to class and mix them together. So once your character hits level 50, you will gain access to subclassing. They estimate there's more than 3,000 skill line combos, and this feature can be used anywhere in ESO because the team wants to give you the freedom to experiment with builds as much as possible. If you have multiple level 50 characters. There's a skill lines that are and the skill lines are already unlocked. You can use this new subclass and level up your abilities as you play. It says if you have just one character, however, you need to go through the quest and train these skill lines in order to use them. So don't worry if you don't have, one of every class like I do. I've played for so long. I have tons and tons of characters. I know a lot of people were kind of worried about that when they heard this, like, I only have one character. You're still going to be able to do this through a quest. They didn't give a lot of details on that just yet, but you're going to be able to mix and match these skill lines. So you can put together things from a DK, things from the Arcanist, things from the Necromancer, things from the Sorcerer, and combine them all on one character. This is going to be something very unique. It says even though it's something that players have asked for a really long time, I'm finally glad that ZOS has gone with this and decided, hey, let's finally do this. Something players have really, really been wanting. It's going to make for a lot of combinations and some very, very unique builds. It's going to make it to where everyone's build can be more unique. Now, of course, there will be those meta builds that are, best in slot kind of things, but there's going to be a lot of players out there experimenting with a lot of different stuff, and I think this is going to be a very cool way, as you hear my dog running in the background playing with toys, it's going to be a very cool way to make the game fresh again for long-time players and something new and interesting for new players. And this is going to be something I think, if handled correctly, can keep players coming back for a really long time. Adding this new season pass idea, which I was not really sure about, if you want me to be honest, because in some games it does not work very well, but it seems to be so far pretty solid in Elder Scrolls Online. But you also have all of these new, like I said, this new world event. We're still getting our dungeons, we're still getting our trials. But the main thing, this subclassing is absolutely amazing, and I think this is going to be something that a lot of players, even maybe have quit playing for a while or stopped playing the game, just pretty much in general, will probably come back and try out, because this is something, like I said, a lot of people have been really wanting for a really, really long time. Leave me a comment with your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you thought about the ESO Direct, what you think about all the content coming to the Elder Scrolls Online this year in 2025. And of course, if you like the video, hit the like. If you have not subscribed yet, please do so, and I'll catch you next time. Peace.